Your Path U. This is Sharon again, Chief Operating Officer of the DIPU platform. I know you guys are so excited to see me again for probably the 4th live in a row. But today I have with me, lucky you, Beth Gray, who is the DIPU Legal Counsel, the Secretary for the Board of Directors, a Hooponopono practitioner, as well as an MBIT coach and practitioner. And in her spare time, she doubles as Superwoman.
Yeah, you know, I mean, because there's nothing else to do, of course. Absolutely.
So Beth and I wanted to take this chance today. This isn't an interview format. We're just going to have a discussion on what is Hooponopono, how do we use Hooponopono, and what are the best techniques that we can utilize in our own life to get the most healing out of this modality. So Beth, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to go ahead and start this conversation off.
All right. So I discovered Hooponopono about 2.5 years ago when I was studying at Unity, and I got a plane flying over.
Don't worry, we do have Beth. We have an inbound condenser mic for Beth, just as.
Oh, I know. And DHL finally called late this afternoon saying they were going to deliver it. So hopefully tomorrow morning I'll get that. But anyway, with Hooponopono, what I was studying meditation, and I was so blessed to do a meditation course that invited us to try different meditation practices. And so they basically gave us a menu of these are, 12 or 15 different meditation practices. Please try one a week, every week while we're doing this course. And the one that most resonated with me at that time was Hooponopono, because having grown up in a very Christian church-based environment, we're told to, forgive others. We're told, that, without forgiveness, there's no forgiveness of your sins if you don't forgive others.
Let not the sun go down.
all sorts of stuff like that. But they don't really tell you how to do it.
They don't. They kind of leave you in the loop.
Exactly. And so, you're busy saying these prayers of forgiveness, hoping that one of these many prayers is going to work.
Yep.
Okay. And when I did Hooponopono and I really started going in deep with it, and especially after I learned mbraining, which is about your multiple brains and really getting into your body and what your feelings are, what your needs are, how you put up protective boundaries and your safety and your security and your thoughts and limiting beliefs, all that sort of stuff. Then I finally started to get an idea of, oh, okay, because Hooponopono is based on this idea and this premise that what I can forgive in myself, I can forgive for others, and I can clear for everyone. And it's basically that all energy is one. So whatever I do for myself, I do for everyone.
Which is true.
Obviously. But we didn't learn that as Christians.
Lord, no, we did not.
Okay. And so with Hooponopono and this idea of everybody is one, I then get this ability to sit there and say, well, okay, if somebody's lied to me, the place I start with is every time I've lied to somebody else. And I go within and I forgive myself.
So powerful.
And then, you start looking at, why did I lie? What was the need that was under the lie? What was the fear? What was the anger? What was the motivation? And you start clearing all of that energy out. And when you turn around to forgive the other person, it's like this.
It's really simple because
It's,
we're looking at our own part in the situation.
yeah. And so you start to recognize the role you played in, they lied to me to protect themselves because I made them fearful.
Mm.
They lied to me to protect their reputation. Oh, how many times have I not done that? And you start to go into this practice, and it becomes daily, because you want to really, in Hooponopono, always be with that lightness, you know. And so at the end of the day, you know, I go through what is a ritual, but you don't allow it to become ritualistic.
Yes.
It
Which
has
is,
to be real every time.
how do you work into your own practice that little caveat?
Usually journaling. I
So
sit down before I do Hooponopono and I journal about my day. And then, of course, you notice any resentments that come up as you're journaling. It's like, oh, that's what I need to work on.
Yep.
Because otherwise, if you just go into the Ho'opono practice of, you know, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you.
You're just kind of vomiting stuff.
Yeah, of what? Of what?
So how many people
And
have you encountered that do Ho'oponopono where it's just the 4 statements and one and done?
most people I know have only ever seen that. That's all they know about it.
So they don't know the deeper layer and the deeper healing.
No. And even when, I mean, like, even when I did, say, Joe Vitale and Hugh Len's online course originally, Hugh Len was always working on clearing, and he made it really clear that he was always working on himself. But he never went into the explanation of how does this work. And I was always left with, okay, I understand what you're telling me, but I have no idea what you're saying.
Mm.
And he's a really quiet man. So Joe Vitale's doing all this talking about clearing the energy and doing this and doing that. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's all blather. And the guy that really does it and knows it is almost silent.
That actually, the wisest people that I know are quiet the most.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm a blabbermouth,
And
so
I'm trying to learn to close my mouth more often and listen and look at twice as much as I speak. Yeah, but it's a hard lesson, especially if I'm nervous. If I'm nervous, I'm just going to talk.
I gotcha.
But what I suddenly discovered in this is that there's so much that he wasn't saying. He kept saying that, for example, Hugh Len talks about having cleared out the psych unit of the criminally insane. And he says that he worked only on himself. He didn't actually work on the patients. And I'm like, okay, he worked only on himself, not on the patients. So what was it in himself that he had to identify and work on?
For mental patients.
For a mental patient. Now, the beautiful thing about mbraining, as I've come to understand, is that my thoughts and my feelings very often don't align. We talk about making a heart-led decision, or we talk about, you know, being logical and rational and ignoring your feelings. And I can imagine how somebody could feel like they're going insane when you have this argument within yourself and almost multiple personalities, especially if you take into account that you have a gut brain, you have an autonomic nervous system, and we still haven't identified how many intelligence centers there are within your body.
Wow.
Now, I have a friend who talks about herself as we. Kind of disconcerting. Okay?
It's true.
But she has one part of herself that protects herself. And I know from mbraining that's your gut brain.
Mm-hmm.
The role of the gut, well, it has the immune system, which is protection, self-preservation. Our gut is also, if something comes into our body that's not supposed to be there, we either throw it up or we get diarrhea and it goes out the other end, but we get rid of that stuff. When you're nervous and stressed, your gut is what plays up, telling you the message. Something isn't right here. So with mbraining, by incorporating the two, I've been able to really go down deep into all of those, the nuances of what are you clearing in energy. You're not just clearing a thought. You're not just clearing a memory. You're literally going through your energy fields and clearing that energy wherever it may be.
And using your modality, not only are you clearing the energy, but you're also using your multiple brains to do it, correct?
Right, correct.
That's fascinating. I've done Hooponopono and I've been a receiver of NBIT, and just imagining those two together makes me excited.
Yeah. So for me, I look at Hooponopono and I'm like, there's so much that can be explained, that I feel like Hugh Len and Beth Gray, who are probably the best known ones teaching it, they go a lot into the esoteric. They go into the blue water bottles and that sort of stuff, which is all energy stuff. They go into the box breathing, which, as you know from having been with mbraining, we do a lot of balanced breathing. Okay. And so there's so many things that resonate with me between the two.
Yes.
But at the same time, there's no explanation as to why does this work. And more importantly, what is your daily practice? Because most people think the daily practice is simply, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. But if you're only saying that, then you're only scratching the surface. And I'm not saying that worked for me at the beginning. At the beginning, that was a great way to scratch the surface. I did a lot of that at the beginning because that was all I knew of it. And I cleared everything that was on the surface. And then suddenly you realize that there's more resentment or anger or pain below that. And you haven't got there yet. And like I said, I've used a lot of journaling. I mean, one of my favorite journaling exercises, and I'm trying to remember which one of, it's actually one of the pastor sites. It's not Rick Warren, but it's one of those sites. And he has a 4-step forgiveness plan. And it's really that, you know, if I forgave this person, what I want to forgive would be this. And the reason that I'm hurt or angry or whatever is this. Once I've let this go, the way I'm going to feel is this way. And so I'll choose to forgive them. And when I was starting my Hooponopono practice, I would use that kind of as my journal prompts. But then I'd find that I wasn't really mad at that person, usually. I was probably mad at myself for not having respected my own boundaries. And so you sit there and you go, well, wait a minute. In order to really forgive this other person, I have to forgive myself. I have to forgive myself for not standing up for myself. I have to forgive myself for not being my own hero. I have to forgive mom and dad or the teacher or the policeman or whoever failed to rescue me. Or, you know, the adults that should have seen that I was in pain. Or my friends who, you know, abandoned me when I was in pain. So, you know, you're mad at your ex because he broke up with you, and you're also mad at your friends because, you know, they didn't sustain you and hold you up, and you're mad at yourself because you're such an idiot. And you go through with Hooponopono, my experience has been all of those layers, not just not just that one person, but absolutely everybody, till you've cleared all of the energy.
So that plays back so beautifully into the actual Hawaiian roots of the practice, which is
absolutely,
there's something wrong with one person in the village, then there's something wrong with the entire village.
With the entire village.
And
exactly.
How they interact and how those two are so closely related.
Well, because the whole practice, I mean, in the Hawaiian, the Pacific Island culture, even in New Zealand culture, this is about restitution and returning balance to the entire community. Okay. And so whatever is blocking me from being okay with one person is blocking me from being okay with every single person.
Wow. That is so intensely deep, because we're taught, again, in Christianity, that there's the one level of existence. It's this physical level on which we're relating to each other. And then there's a spirit life that you're going to go to in the sweet by and by.
And that's only you and God. That's not actually you and everybody else's spirits. Exactly. And I think that is where, as Christians, we failed to learn that the same way that I am spirit, you are spirit. And it does say this in the Bible, but I never understood it, that whatever was blocking me from being at one with you is blocking me from being at one with God.
Yes, because we are God.
But I never understood that until now, and with Hooponopono. And yeah, I'm being photobombed by a cat again.
I wanted to ask you, I remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you also saying that on top of adding those two together, that you had woven EFT into this as well.
Absolutely.
Now that sounds downright dangerous. You've got to tell us about that.
Okay. Well, the whole thing with EFT, obviously, is you're clearing the entire energy field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you wanted to talk energy wise, you might say, you're realigning your chakras or whatever. But basically with EFT, you're taking a mental state or a limiting belief, and you're working through it energetically and emotionally until it's at a place of, let's say you started off at a level 8 or 9 of this really upsets me, and you're going to bring it down with EFT to a 2 or a 3. So typically I'll start even with EFT, and then go through the mbraining and the Hooponopono, and then I will close with EFT, because EFT has some really wonderful anchoring mechanisms in it.
Now, is this for your clients or for you or for both? The way this setup that you're talking about?
This would be for both. I do it for myself, but I also do it I show the clients how to do it.
So are you teaching this?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you see the course being structured as?
Well, it's got to be in person live.
Absolutely.
And then obviously there's got to be a lot of practice pods, learning labs on this, of the way you're going into it is doing it.
You're going to have experiential learning woven into it as well. Are you going to have your own community for it?
Yes, that will be.
Wow.
So the whole idea of this is, I want to take this from being something that's head knowledge of, first, you're going to do it on yourself, but then you're going to start taking other people through it. Mm-hmm. And obviously with EFT, there's tapping points that you need to learn and everything. But once you've learned them, it's pretty standard. It's not like TFT, where TFT has, I think they call them recipes, where you've got to know for fear it's this one, but for pain it's another one. And, so
would you mind saying what TFT is for those of our viewers, including me, who don't know what it is?
Okay. TFT came before EFT.
Okay.
So EFT is emotional freedom techniques, TFT, I'm trying to remember what the T stands for, and it's gone right now.
Is
But
it touch?
basically, it could be touch. But what it is, what it was, okay.
What it is, what it be?
It was really specific body points. So on some of them, you'll skip one of the spots, or you'll add in extra spots.
Mhm.
Whereas in EFT, you do all of them, and you simply go through the entire sequence. In TFT, you only do the specific ones that relate to that matter.
Which one do you prefer?
Well, there's another one that I learned from Graham Nichols. Sorry.
Let's hear it.
Which is energy EFT.
Oh, wow.
And I modified that a little bit more and really made it about starting, the heart math project where you start with breathing
Yes.
through the heart. And yeah, so he's even ramped that up more. So if I've got a client that I'm just doing a one-off session with, I'll probably only do that one with them.
Got it. So
I'm not
Grant's version of
Graham's version, of the energy one. Yeah. So, and I really, so I was like, oh my goodness. So it's beautiful because you get to learn the intricacies, because he goes through, this is TFT, this is EFT, and then if you want, there's another one that he's created, which is the energy one, which is, I would say, almost more holistic, and it's very focused on your body's energy. You start with the heart, you come back to the heart, which of course, as you know, with mbraining is exactly what we do.
Yes.
So with mbraining, we start with your heart, and we're always going to bring you back and finish with your heart, which is why I love the energy EFT so much, because you're always coming back to the heart. Of course.
It's all the heart.
It's all the heart.
Wow. That is powerful, Beth.
So, I mean, for me, this is quite exciting.
This must be the culmination of just years and years of study for you.
I think actually it's not the study, it's the doing. Okay, the reality is I'm really good at head knowledge. I was not so good at putting it into practice and doing it in my own life. I was so busy reading the books and doing the courses. And then you realize one day that, I still haven't changed all that much, and I still got the same problems I had. And the reason, you're struggling and you keep coming up against the same rock is because you're learning it, but you're not really learning it to a level where you're getting different results.
So what you're saying is the course that you'll be teaching on the DipU platform is going to have the entirety of the course, including
the practice and
heart knowledge.
Exactly. And you've done it for yourself, and talk to me about how you're changed.
Wow. And on top of it, not only is that the case, but it's also an instructor who doesn't just teach it, who incorporates it and uses it in their daily life.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
And so for me, that's really, really important, because it's like, yes, it's really easy to get the head knowledge. The head knowledge is how many hours of classwork. That's relatively simple, but to really practice it to a place where you can see it in your everyday life, and where anyone that comes to you, any client that comes to you, and you can, it flows. You don't have to think about, well, I wonder if I should. No, you just instinctively know. And I think that's the beauty of what DipU is giving. We're going to be giving the theory classes on so much, but then we're going to have the learning labs where we just get people to come and practice it. And so, it's, yeah, sure, if you just want to do the theory and learn it, fine. But if you want to come and really practice it and become that practitioner,
Because head knowledge is wonderful. Head knowledge is fantastic. That's how we grow and change. But it's when we take that head level knowledge and integrate it into the level of our life that true change happens.
Absolutely. And I think it's Dan Sullivan that says that, you're learning. I can tell that you've learned something when I see different results.
Yes, different behavior, not just that you can say the right things, that your behavior indicates that you've changed.
Exactly.
That's quite the that sounds like an absolutely amazing course. And I'm so happy that we got the chance to come on today and to discuss it with our viewers. Because personally, I can't think of any amount of money that I wouldn't be willing to consider to learn something that helps me completely clear out resentments and old fears and pains. And I'm so excited to get a chance to see what you do with that, Beth. So thank you so much for being here today. To our viewers,
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We sincerely appreciate you being with us as always. We hope that you have enjoyed getting to know the illustrious Miss Beth Gray, our legal counsel, as well as secretary of the board, among 101 other titles. And she is a fantastic lady who's going to be adding a completely new depth of heart to our instructors and to our instructor practice. So thank you, Beth, for being here with us. Thank you, viewers, for watching. And we can't wait till tomorrow morning when we have on Karen Armstrong, who actually shares the financial responsibilities for the organization with Sarah Whalen, who you've already met. So we look forward to that. And Beth, thank you so much for being here. And we will talk to you guys later.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Good night.
Bye, guys.